Hey guys, how you doing? It's Henry at Mowers and Blowers. Welcome to another episode. This is my wife's 2013 Mercedes-Benz ML 350. It was the last year of the ML. It went to GLE the following year. Still looked the same. Anyway, inspection was up. Here in the state of New York, you have to take it for inspection. Inspection costs $37. It's a safety as well as an emissions inspection. So every year we got to go do that. I insisted that she takes it to my local guy where won't charge you not much at all for it, right? But they charge her $37, and the oil change for this was like $250. Crazy. They do top off your fluids and they wash your car for you, and that's what she likes. The kind of Mercedes dealership service that they provide. Anyway, she failed inspection, and she calls me up and she says, they failed inspection because they said you need all 4 brake pads, all 4 rotors, front and rear brakes. And I says, that's crazy. I did the rear brakes before. I did a video on it. And then she's like, oh, well, maybe they're trying to rip us off. I'm like, well, there is no surprise, right? And then I checked the video, and it was 3 years ago. So, and I don't recall ever doing the fronts. So maybe it does need it. Anyway, before she drove it there was no indication on the dash of brake wear sensor. Then now when she came back, now there's an indication of a brake sensor. So who knows what they do to make you think that you need it. But I'm pretty sure you need it. Anyway, you ready for this? So I asked them just for, to humor them, how much? Get ready. $1,600 for the fronts, $1,300 for the rears. So over $3,000 with tax. To do brake pads and rotors for all 4 wheels? What are you, nuts? Anyway, I said, nope, bring the car back. They charge you for the $37 whether you pass or fail. So that's gone. That was the service of doing it. So I ordered front rotors, rear rotors, front brake pads, rear brake pads off of eBay for $250. I could have got it for $120, but I decided to upgrade and I chose the slotted and drilled rotors. If you're gonna do it, you might as well pay a little extra and have high performance brakes. So I got to figure out if this is the front or the rears. I don't know. But anyway, here is what I bought. Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? Slotted and drilled. And these are unidirectional. Some you have to put on the right side, for the swirl. But this looks like it's unidirectional, meaning it doesn't matter which wheel you put it on. So all the brakes, all 4 wheels are going to have slotted and drilled rotors. If you buy this stuff on eBay or Amazon, whatever, they're so much cheaper than if you bought them at any other retail store, and especially at the dealership. You know what I mean? Oh! Hope I got that on video. Here are the brake pads. Semi-metallic, which is what I wanted. You could use ceramic, which sometimes I get too, but I find that ceramic, they wear out faster. Semi-metallic lasts a little longer. Asbestos free. Free! 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 Anyway, I think these are the fronts because they're bigger. They're usually bigger in the fronts. And I believe these are the rears. With these cars, the rears are a little bit more, there's a little more to it because there's an emergency brake thingamajig that you have to use either one of those professional scanner tools to let it automatically disengage, if you will, so that you can take the rotor off. But the fronts, you don't have that. Do you have that problem? I don't know. I guess I'll find out when I get there. But I've done brakes my whole life, on all my cars. I refuse to let the dealership do it for you, because they'll charge you like 100 times more than what you would have done if you. And brakes are not hard. I mean, if you guys know what I'm talking about, it may seem intimidating, but brake pads are not hard. And rotors, it's just like another extra 2 steps or something like that, and they should come right off. The problem is if they don't come right off, that's when you have a problem. But for the most part, brakes are very easy to do. Nowadays, I don't even do my own oil changes because it's just messy, and it's cheap enough to, you know, have somebody else do it. But brakes are expensive for the dealership to do, and it's really cheap for you to do it yourself. And I mean, that's what my channel's all about, right? Just doing shit yourself. You know, if you were able to physically to do it, why not do it yourself and save yourself a ton of money? Wouldn't you rather spend that extra money that you're spending, and we're talking like a big difference here, $3,000 versus $250, and your time? You know what I mean? My friend Andy from Jericho might be coming over. I just got him into doing his own brakes, so he kind of likes to practice. So he's like, "Ooh, fun." I'm like, "Yeah, you want to do it all?" You know, he's coming by later to help me out. So that's it. We have these great brake rotors, and we got brake pads. The only thing is, I ordered 4 new brake sensors. They're aftermarket kinds. They're very cheap. I bought 4 for like $10 or something like that. Anyway, they didn't come yet. But I remember I had an extra. I had an extra one from my last brake job, and I believe they all fit the same on the Mercedes. They don't distinguish between certain models. They all look the same. I don't know. This wire looks a little short, but we'll figure it out when we get to the front. I'm going to do the front brakes today because I've never done them before. I'm curious as to see how bad the brake pad wear is. And, you know, hopefully the sensors will come today. If not, I'll try to use this. And if not, then I guess I'm just going to have to wait for it. But anyway, I'll put you guys on time lapse for the rears. But I'll show you the steps that I take for the fronts, because I never made a video on the fronts. So sometimes you need to get a block of wood, because the SUVs, they're so high up that even at the highest level of your jack, it still won't raise the wheel. So I'm just going to test it right now to see. This is my jack I got from VEVOR. It's great. All right, looks like it lifts it up just fine, so that'll be good enough. I don't need the block. I'll of course put some jacks on here too, but before we do that, I have to put the wheel back down again because it needs to touch the ground for me to get the lug nuts off. And that's good enough. It just needs to touch. So my buddy Andy's over now. That's right. I found the lug nut socket that fits perfectly. It's a 17 millimeter. At least that's what I think it is. We've got no power. We need to change this. All right, I got a new fresh battery. I've got some jack stands here when we're ready to go, so that when you stick your head in there, it's not gonna fall on your head. Ooh, that was kind of loose. Ooh, that was kind of loose too. All right, so now all 4 bolts are loose. We'll just jack this up. All right. Yeah, it's off the ground pretty well. So I'll put a jack stand under there, and I'll take the wheel off. Actually, let me take the wheel off. All right, you have to scream, "Police, search warrant!" Ow! Oh! of the ankle. Oh.
Damn, dude.
Wait, did I take all four off? There we go.
Don't mess with that jack.
Alright. May need new tires soon.
Oh yeah, that's...
We'll put the jack under there somewhere. So first snag, I do not have the correct hex socket to get this bolt off. So I may have to go to Harbor Freight and get that one little socket. T30 Torx. I was so happy not to strip this. This is holding the rotor onto the car, or the thing. We pried that little clip off holding the caliper. I still have to go and get that tool. So, a little bit of a delay. I did the rears before, but I never did the fronts before. And the fronts require an 11mm hex extension socket, which I don't have. Every kit, every set that we've seen only goes up to 10mm. Now the equivalent is a 7/16, but it's smaller, so you could strip it, which I didn't want to do. So we went to Harbor Freight Tools, Advanced Auto Parts, we went to a Granger, we went to all these places, and one place had an 11mm, but it was short. So I was worried that if I bought it, which was $10, it wouldn't go all the way in because the socket would get in the way. So I need to have one that's, at least 3 inches long. And so I might have to order online and wait for it, because I can't get the caliper off without that tool. And nobody sells that tool because Mercedes knows that you're gonna go and work on it yourself. So they get one that you can't even buy, but you can buy it online. So that's the story. I might have to delay it for a few days. And then my buddy Andy, he's a big Porsche guy. He says, "Ooh, look at that, a green Porsche 911, like a late 70s.
Actually, it's a 69.
It's a 69? And look at it, look at that. There's no rust anywhere. It's been restored. It's in really good condition. Anyway, we just found out, not for sale. So yeah, it's too bad. I can't fix my brakes today. I have to wait for the socket. But I just got this in the mail. The FedEx guy just brought it to me. Look at that. It's like a suitcase on wheels. Like the flight attendants use in the airlines. It expands so you can put a lot more stuff in it, right? Sturdy construction from Oiwas. Look at that. Big ring loop so you can get your fingers in there easily. Not 4 wheels, but 8 wheels, rotating and rubberized. You've got your pull-out handle here. Got another handle there. Look at this. It's a lock that's integrated onto the suitcase. Combination. I used to work for the airline industry. I've never seen anything like that. That's pretty cool. Let's unzip it. That's what it looks like on the inside. Bag over here. More stuff there. Individual pockets over here. Mesh pocket. Little compartment there with a bunch of stickers. Put a lot of stuff in here. Very cool. Really nice. These are great gift ideas for your family as the holidays come. Cool little bag. Lockable. Zippered enclosure. Handle over here. Stoppers on the side. Handle over here. Very cool little suitcase. Very handy to have. I may not put tools in here, but If you're going on a short trip, this would be a nice thing to have. I'll leave a link in the description for the Oiwas traveling roller bag. It's very cool. So what can I do? I can't find a place that sells the tool I need to get the caliper off. They do this on purpose, you know, because if this was an 11mm hex socket is readily available in all stores, everybody would be fixing their brakes by yourself. But they don't want you to fix the brakes. They want you to pay $1,600 for the fronts and $1,300 for the backs. Well, I refuse to pay what they dictate. I'm gonna fix it myself, even if I have to wait a few days and buy this part online. So I'll continue this video when I get my part. In the meantime, I'll put this wheel back on so it doesn't look ridiculous. We'll see you later. Hey, it's the next day. So I didn't go and buy the a thing online. I just went to this local place that had it. It's a specialty store. This is exactly what I need. It's an 11mm hex 3/8 drive. And most kits only go up to 10mm. They never sell the 11mm. Sometimes you get kits that even has 12, but it just doesn't have the 11. And that's why Mercedes uses 11, is so you will have a tough time trying to do it yourself. They want you to bring it to the dealership, and so they can charge you $3,000 for a $250 job. So today I'm going to I'm going to finish what I started using this damn thing. Okay guys, thanks to the tool that I got, I was able to remove these hex bolts right there. That's what it looks like. So it came off really easily. Little rusty here, but it's rubber, so I'm going to put a little bit of grease right over here where it contacts this. And check it out. Here's the difference. I guess you needed it, but it wasn't like urgent. So urgent. I guess it still would have lasted another 500 miles, maybe. Anyway, since we're also changing the rotors today, I took off the set screw over here, which is a Torx, and I have to remove this bracket, the caliper bracket. That's going to be kind of tough. I think it's 17mm. I hope I have it. I don't want to have to go out and get another one. But yeah, so I'll put this together, and that's it. I believe the sensor is on the right side, so there's only one sensor for the front, one sensor for the back. This should be straightforward. I have 4 hours until my new refrigerator comes, so hopefully I'll be done. So I was able to remove this caliper bracket, and it had these two huge bolts. They were tough to get out. I mean, it was tough to loosen them, and then even when you got them loose, you had to really, it was like somebody put Loctite on them, and they did. It was Loctite in these things. So eventually I used my 1/2-inch impact with the 13/16 and got it out, and so the bracket came off. It's in good condition. Here's the rotor. You just bang it a bunch of times, it'll break free from the break free from the rust. And so yeah, this rotor's pretty rusty. Has a lot of these grooves on the end, on the surface. And so this is a little bit rusty, and just used a little bit of brake cleaner to clean that, right? And I might put a little bit of grease in between here so it's not rusted onto there next time, because it's probably going to be me doing them anyway. And now I'm gonna match up this to the rotors that I got. I want to, because they sent me 4 rotors, but they didn't tell me which is the fronts, which is the backs, you know what I mean? So I have to go do some measuring and compare. And then I'll come back and, well, here, I can do this. Just a little dab of spray grease there. And then use your hands and just, you know, just so it doesn't stick next time. Now that little bit is gonna help the next person that does this. It's probably me. There we go. Took me an hour just to do this because I had neighbors come by and ask me, "Hey Henry, what are you doing?" "Well, what does it freaking look like I'm doing, huh?"
Henry, you're so handy. You know how to work on everything.
Well, not everything, but you know, I do what I think I can do, you know. And brakes, honestly, fellas, is very easy. But check that out, huh? Slotted and drilled. Hey, if you have an opportunity to upgrade, why not? It's cheap. All right, so that's how I did it. I hope it works. I'll have to do the other side now. Curses. So I just did the fronts, and Andy and I are doing the backs. And of course, it's all completely different from the front. Has different size bolts for this, different size bolts for the bracket, for the calipers. This was all about the same, but I mean, I literally took out every tool that I own to do this, you know what I'm saying? And I'm almost there, but then those dudes there are bringing my fridge. So I gotta stop what I'm doing and I gotta make sure that the fridge fits. And in the meantime, this is all going pretty well. It looks really nice, but I also want to show you this. So Mercedes told me that I needed new brake pads, right? All 4? Fronts, yes. Look at the backs. There's plenty of meat on here. Yeah, here's the other one. You could still see the cutoff here, you know what I'm saying? So when they tell you that you need brakes desperately, give me a break. This is not desperately. This is like another year's worth or 2. But then you compare it with the new one, and it is at least half gone. But it's not like, you know, super urgent that you needed to change them. They just want to try to make money off of you, that's all. Woo-wee. Finally, I got it all done. All 4 brake pads, all 4 rotors. It took a long time. It really wasn't hard, just time consuming, you know. You get faster as you go because you know how to do it, you know. The fronts took a little bit longer than I normally would because I was learning how to do it. The rear brakes, you had to do the special code, so it takes the parking brake electronic thing zzz, out of there. I did a video on that already, so I didn't really show you too much. As you saw, the refrigerator guys came, and they did a great job. My refrigerator fit perfectly. I want to tell you guys real quick about the Yantu car accessory. So, you know, how many times are you driving and stuff, and you get this new accessory and that new accessory, such as you need to plug in your cell phone charger, you have to plug in, you know, your dash cam, you got a radar detector, you got all kinds of stuff, right? So this is something really easy and handy to use. So what it does is, instead of having just one cigarette lighter plug in your car, Most cars have one in the front, one in the back. Well, if you are being, if all those cigarette lighters are being used, you know, and they're probably being used. I mean, I myself have a dash cam plugged into it, as well as a USB thing, as well as a car charger. So I have to split it, right? So this Yantu car splitter basically splits one cigarette lighter into 3. And also, it includes 2 USB ports, so you can plug in your cell phone or your iPad charger, whatever, right, onto USB, as well as dash cams. You can plug in your dash cam in there, as well as any other accessories that require a cigarette lighter, you know. You can select them, which ones you want to use, and you simply just plug it in. Let's plug it in right now and see. So let's start my car. I went around the block to test the brakes. Works fine! I currently have a cigarette lighter plugged in for the dash cam. We'll just plug this one in. How about that? So I plug that in. I can plug my dash cam into this part here. And you can select which ones with these buttons, see? Okay, that should be on, or that's off. This is off, that's off, right? Turn them on so that all 3 are being used. Also, it illuminates in the USB port too at night. But here's something that I really like. Well, first of all, you'd want to mount this somewhere where, you know, it's convenient, whatever. You can put it in there or something like that, but this is it right there. You can plug in 3 cigarette lighters, 2 USB ports. You can turn them off and on if you want. And this is the best part. It tells you the voltage of your battery and whether or not your alternator's working. So as you can see, it's 14.8 volts. Well, the engine's on, right? So that means that the alternator is charging the battery. If you get like under 12 volts, then your alternator has problems. This way you always know what your voltage is for your alternator and your battery. As you can see, it's going up and down, so it's charging. Really fantastic item, actually. I'm going to use this in Sketchy. Very cool. So it's a cigarette lighter accessory power device with USB ports from Yantu. So these things are not very expensive at all, but they really are helpful and they work out great with your car and any other kind of devices, and I'm sure you have plenty. This will accommodate those things. So I'll leave a link in the description if you guys are interested in this. And listen, thanks a lot very much for following me along today on my 4-wheel brake pad and rotor job, upgrading the rotors from regular flat surface to drilled and slotted rotors. The whole thing only cost me 1 entire morning and most of the afternoon. My friend Andy from Jericho came by to help me out, but it still took me like, with the refrigerator guys coming, you know, I mean, it's like 4 o'clock now. I started like at 10, so it took me like 6 hours, but you know, I was messing around doing other stuff too. But either way, Mercedes was going to charge me $3,000. I did it for $250 and a day of my time, you know. As long as you got the tools. Oh, I take that back. I did spend $10 on that damn 11mm hex socket. Whatever, $260. Compare that to $3,000. I saved a ton of money. But I'm really tired, you know, and I'm dirty, and I still got to put my tools away. Anyway, thanks a lot, guys. We'll see you guys next time on Mowers and Blowers.